Introduction. When it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, good eating and regular exercise are keys. While this is true, we can also think about our connection with food and living a healthy lifestyle. Fasting is voluntarily abstaining from some or all food, drink, or both for a period of time. Short-term fasting can provide good health benefits, despite its reputation for being harmful, depriving, or reserved for religious reasons. Fasting is becoming more frequently regarded as a viable technique of managing weight and preventing disease as research in this field expands. Simultaneously, it is critical that fasting be done correctly and in a healthy manner. Fasting's popularity has skyrocketed in recent years, thanks to phrases like intermittent fasting and time-restricted feeding making their way into the mainstream media. However, before jumping right into fasting, it's essential to understand what fasting is, what it entails, and the 3 types of fasts. The act of going without food for a long time is known as fasting. Fasting was a component of everyday life among our prehistoric ancestors. It was challenging to obtain our food, therefore going without food for extended periods was usual. In the 21st century, finding food is no longer a problem. We can even have it delivered to our doorstep at the touch of a button. Our cupboards and refrigerators are as complete as ever, thanks to this new era in food procurement with our cell phones. But, on the other hand, fasting has grown in popularity and is promoted as a quick way to achieve your fitness goals. As popular as fasting is becoming, fasting isn't for everyone, and there are a few things to consider before you start restricting your food intake. The science of fasting. The benefits of fasting are now supported by a considerable body of research, even though the most important data comes from animal studies. Nonetheless, these results are encouraging for people. Fasting, in essence, rids our bodies of toxins and enables cells to engage in processes that aren't customarily triggered when a regular body of food is available. When we fast, our bodies don't have access to glucose as they usually do, requiring our cells to find other ways to generate energy. As a result, the body begins the natural process of creating its sugar, gluconeogenesis. In addition, non-carbohydrate elements such as lactate, amino acids, and lipids are converted into glucose energy by the liver. As a result, our basal metabolic rate, the amount of energy our bodies burn while resting, becomes more efficient because our bodies conserve energy while fasting, decreasing our heart rate and blood pressure. Another phase that occurs later in the fast cycle is ketosis. Again, the body uses stored fat as its primary source of energy. It is the best for weight loss and blood sugar regulation. Fasting causes modest stress in the body, which causes our cells to adapt by increasing their ability to cope. To put it another way, they become powerful. It is similar to what happens when we exercise and put our muscles and cardiovascular system under stress. Our bodies can only get stronger during these processes if we take enough time to relax and recover, just like when we exercise. That's why fasting for a brief period of time is the healthy way to fasting. Fasting is an age-old practice generally done for religious reasons. However, fasting for weight loss is gaining popularity. There are dozens of do-it-yourself fasting plans available, with claims ranging from eliminating poisons from the body to losing 30 pounds in 30 days. Fasting, or eating very little to no food, does cause weight reduction, at least in the short term. However, the risks far exceed the advantages, and fasting can eventually do more harm than good. Typical fasting diets for weight loss. Fasting regimens vary, but the basic notion usually begins with a rigorous diet consisting solely of water, juice, or a laxative concoction. Some regimens allow a few solid foods, although they are referred to as fasts due to the low-calorie content. Fasting isn't the same for everyone. Medical fasts under the supervision of a physician, for example, can be safe. Religious and cultural fasts are usually done as a form of devotion and last from 24 to 48 hours. Fasts of 1 or 2 days are unlikely to be harmful to most healthy persons. However, fasting for high-risk adults, the elderly, anyone with a chronic ailment, pregnant women, or children is not recommended. The actual danger comes from fasting for more extended periods. The research shows that fasting longer than 24 hours has a negative effect on our health. The risk of fasting for weight loss. You will lose weight if you drastically limit your calorie consumption. However, it can lead to a variety of health issues, including muscle loss. Furthermore, when you begin fasting, your body enters a state of conservation, burning calories at a slower rate. It's important to remember that the weight lost during a fast is primarily fluid or water weight, not fat. When you resume eating, any weight you've lost usually returns with a return ticket. Most people will regain the weight they lost during a fast, gain a few pounds since the slower metabolism makes it easier to acquire weight. Worse, the regained weight will almost certainly be fat. Dizziness, headaches, low blood sugar, muscle aches, weakness, and weariness are all side effects of fasting. Fasting for an extended period of time can cause anemia, a weaker immune system, liver and kidney issues, and an erratic heartbeat. Vitamin and mineral shortages, muscular breakdown, and diarrhea are all possible side effects of fasting. There's a higher risk of fluid imbalance and dehydration if you drink laxative concoctions during a fast. The hazards become more intricate and severe the longer you fast or if you fast frequently. Why a detox diet isn't necessary. Fasting appears to be a reasonable way to rid your body of dangerous compounds that can cause various diseases such as obesity, weariness, and headaches. However, there is no scientific proof that fasting is necessary to cleanse or remove toxins from the body. The kidneys, liver, lungs, colon, and skin in particular are perfectly capable of eliminating toxins on their own. Lastly, there is no data or research that supports a detox during a fasting state. Therefore, detoxing during a fast can likely bring about negative health risks and is not recommended. Why fasting is good for health. Is it healthy to starve yourself every day or a few times a week? Well, there's a lot of evidence that suggests that fasting at specific times is beneficial. Most research suggesting that fasting can improve health, promote longevity, and help people lose weight. Nutritionist Carrie Torrens examines the history of fasting, the science behind some claims, and how fasting might fit into our current lifestyles. The history of fasting. Despite its popularity in today's diet, fasting has been used for millennia and is considered one of medicine's oldest remedies. The father of Western medicine, Hippocrates, advised refraining from meals to facilitate the healing process in the 5th century BC. Likewise, fasting once a week is supposed to promote intestinal clearing in Ayurvedic medicine. Fasting is an integral part of cultural and religious rituals, with all significant religions employing it somehow. Lent in Christianity and Ramadan in Islam are two well-known instances. Many think that going without food for long periods of time is something we have evolved to do, whether it is complete abstinence from food and drink or a lighter, lower-calorie type of eating. Fasting's appeal is understandable, given the various health benefits associated with it. It's worth emphasizing, however, that the evidence for non-weight-related advantages is equivocal, but promising. In addition, because some research areas have only investigated animals, thus it's unknown how the benefits apply to humans. However, by easing up on your typical eating habits, you'll give your body more time to focus on other vital duties, such as illness prevention. Fasting, however, appears to increase the body's ability to control inflammation, which could aid chronic illnesses including heart disease, multiple sclerosis, and rheumatoid arthritis. Fasting has also been shown to improve blood sugar control and reduce the risk of diabetes in several trials. Still, gender may play a role here, and further research is needed. Fasting may help the body control cancer by improving immunity. For example, nighttime fasting of more than 13 hours was shown in one study to effectively reduce the risk of recurrence in patients diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer. Fasting should be done under the guidance of your doctor. According to animal studies, fasting may protect against or enhance Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease outcomes and increase brain function by supporting memory and brain processing. Fasting may also safeguard brain health and boost nerve cell development, according to animal research. Fasting has become popular among dieters as a convenient way to lose weight. Controlling when we eat or fasting for a brief period of time has been shown in studies to help with weight loss, fat loss, and blood lipids. In other research, fasting has also been proven to boost the ability to switch metabolism to fat burning, preserve muscle mass, and improve body composition in overweight adults. Fasting can increase our body's human growth hormone levels, which are involved in growth and repair, metabolism, weight loss, muscle strength, and exercise performance. Furthermore, in animal models, fasting and, in particular, eating a low-protein diet has been linked to a longer lifespan. Fasting has grown in popularity in recent years, particularly among health professionals. While most health practitioners are hesitant to recommend eating less because of the associated stigma, this does not negate the great benefits of fasting when done correctly. Here, we'll look at 10 surprising benefits of fasting and how you may implement them into your own life. Number 1. Fasting helps you lose weight. Intermittent fasting, fasting restricted within a certain number of hours, has been demonstrated in tests to help the body burn fat cells more effectively than regular diets. Intermittent fasting allows the body to use fat instead of sugar as its primary source of energy. Fasting is increasingly widely used by athletes to achieve low body fat percentages in preparation for competitions. Number 2. Insulin sensitivity is improved by fasting. Fasting has improved insulin sensitivity, making it easier to tolerate carbs, sugars, than if you didn't fast. In addition, according to a study, insulin becomes more effective in telling cells to take up glucose from the blood after periods of fasting. Number 3. Fasting increases metabolism. Intermittent fasting allows your digestive system to rest, which can rev up your metabolism and help you burn calories faster. Your ability to metabolize food and burn fat can be harmed if your digestion is poor. Intermittent fasting can improve your metabolic efficiency by regulating digestion and promoting healthy bowel function. Number 4. Fasting helps you live longer. You may be surprised to learn that the less you eat, the longer you live. According to studies, people's lifespans in various cultures have been demonstrated to grow due to their diets. We do not, however, need to reside in a distant country to profit from fasting. A slowing metabolism is one of the fundamental impacts of aging. The younger your body is, the faster and more efficient your metabolism is. The fewer calories you consume, the easier it is on your digestive system. Number 5. Fasting makes you hungrier. Consider this. Can you feel hungry if you eat every 3 to 4 hours? You can't, of course. It could take anywhere from 12 to 24 hours to truly understand the nature of hunger. Fasting aids in the regulation of hormones in the body. We know that obese people don't get the right signals to tell them when they're full because of their eating habits. Use fasting as a reset button. The longer you fast, the more your body can regulate itself and produce the appropriate chemicals, allowing you to experience true hunger. Not to mention that when your hormones are in balance, you feel fuller faster. Number 6. Fasting helps you change your eating habits. Fasting can be beneficial for those who suffer from binge eating disorders or find it difficult to develop a healthy eating pattern due to work or other obligations. Intermittent fasting allows you to go all afternoon without eating and will enable you to eat at a time that suits your schedule. Also, suppose you want to avoid binge eating. Then, you can schedule a period when you allow yourself to eat your daily calorie intake in one sitting and then not eat again until the next day. Number 7. Fasting helps your brain work better. Fasting has shown signs to promote the synthesis of a brain-derived neurotrophic factor protein which improves brain function, BDNF. BDNF stimulates the conversion of brain stem cells into new neurons and the release of a slew of other chemicals that promote neural health. This protein also protects your brain cells from Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease-related alterations. Number 8. Fasting strengthens your immune system. Intermittent fasting strengthens the immune system by reducing free radical damage, regulating inflammatory conditions in the body, and inhibiting the growth of cancer cells. When animals feel sick, they stop eating and concentrate on resting. This type of behavior is a primal instinct to alleviate internal stress so that their bodies can fight sickness. Humans are the only species that seek food when they are ill, even if they do not require it. Number 9. Fasting helps you achieve self-enlightenment. For example, during reading, meditation, yoga, and martial arts, fasting has helped many people feel more connected to life. In addition, with no food in the digestive system, there is more area in the body for energy. The digestive system is one of the body's most energy-absorbing processes. Fasting for self-enlightenment improves our mental and physical well-being. We become more aware and grateful for the things around us when we have a lighter body and a clearer mind. Number 10. Fasting aids in the clearing of the skin and the prevention of acne. Fasting can help clean the skin because it allows the body to focus its healing resources on other systems. At the same time, it is momentarily free of digestion. During fasting, the body can clear up toxins and regulate other organs such as the liver, kidneys, and other areas of the body by fasting for one day. Who can benefit from fasting and who won't? Many people eat for roughly 8 hours and then fast for the remaining 16 hours. Don't worry, you'll sleep for nearly half of those 16 hours. On the other hand, others may choose to eat regularly most days, then fast or restrict calories to less than 500 on 2 or 3 days in a row. This type of fasting is known as a 5-2 fast. Intermittent fasting is gaining popularity and research. Proponents claim it helps with everything from weight loss to cognitive function to longevity. In addition, autophagy, the body's mechanism of cleaning away old cells and generating new ones, is aided by focused fasting. According to certain studies, autophagy aids in the removal of malignant cells and delays the aging process. Fasting also includes a ketogenic state in which the body burns fat rather than sugar for energy. This ketogenic state can help with cognitive, weight loss, and even blood sugar management. Who can fasting help the most? Experts feel that as research on intermittent fasting progresses, the technique may particularly benefit some groups of people. Number 1. Diabetic patients with type 2 diabetes. People with type 2 diabetes have difficulty responding to the hormone insulin and keeping their blood sugar levels in check. Intermittent fasting encourages the body to use fat rather than sugar for energy, which is beneficial. According to research, fasting can help reverse type 2 diabetes. According to one case study published in BMG Case Reports, according to the BMG Case Reports study, 3 men were no longer in need of insulin medication. Number 2. People that are overweight. Most forms of intermittent fasting restrict when you eat rather than what you eat. Many fasters find that they plan their meals better and consume fewer, healthier calories in the long run. Diets that involve a calorie deficit should result in weight loss over time. Furthermore, because fasting causes the body to turn to fat stores for energy, it can be especially advantageous for persons who want to reduce weight. Fasting is just as successful as typical calorie-restrictive diets at prompting weight loss, according to a 2015 comprehensive review of 40 separate studies, published in Molecular and Cellular Endocrinology. Number 3. Those who wish to promote brain health. The brain benefits from increasing ketone synthesis, lowering insulin levels, and greatly enhancing insulin sensitivity. Fasting-induced increases in ketone levels may help the brain function better, resulting in improved memory retention, learning, emotional decision-making, and sensory integration. These effects can make fasters feel sharper and more focused in the near term and protect them from cognitive decline over time. In addition, fasting makes many people feel more clear-headed and productive, especially in the morning. Number 4. Individuals suffering from digestive disorders. Fasting allows the body to rest from constantly digesting and controlling all of the food it consumes. This pause may help people avoid feeling bloated or too full. Eliminating the option of idle snacking at night also ensures that digestion does not disrupt your sleep. Fasting can also help people pay more attention to hunger and fullness cues, which can be challenging to notice when we don't have time constraints on when we eat and when we don't. Number 5. Those who want to restrict their social eating. Intermittent fasting can be advantageous if you tend to be laser focused on eating well during the day but go hog wild once you're off the clock. Fasting can help some people avoid mindless snacking late at night or overindulging on appetizers at happy hour. If you do it correctly, you will not be tempted to eat anything else. Number 6. People who despise calorie counting. Suppose you've tried calorie or macro counting in the past to lose weight. In that case, intermittent fasting could help you achieve your objectives without all of the meal tracking and math. The benefit of fasting is that you don't have to eliminate entire food groups or count calories because you can eat till you're satisfied during your eating window. There are some fasting rules. Fasting has aroused your interest. check with yourself to see if it will have a significant impact on your way of life. If you prefer late dinners and drinks with friends, for example, fasting may influence your social life. If you exercise first thing in the morning, you may not want to wait until lunchtime to replenish. Some people may regard their feeding window as open-air markets. Fasting may cause these individuals to overeat and gain weight. If this describes you, McNamara suggests keeping a food diary for a few days. In this manner, you can make sure you're getting enough nutrients while staying inside your calorie budget. Fasting is not suitable for specific individuals due to its highly restrictive nature, including people with type 1 diabetes, pregnant or breastfeeding women, anyone with a history of fainting or disordered eating. People who use blood pressure or heart disease drugs should avoid fasting. Taking these drugs on an empty stomach may increase the risk of adverse effects. Finally, if you decide to give fasting a try, it's totally up to you what you eat during your eating window. The standard guidelines of a healthy diet, however, still apply. Eat plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, high fiber foods, lean proteins, and unsaturated fats. As always, limit your intake of added sugar, refined carbohydrates, and processed meals. The weight loss effects of fasting. Fasting generally is defined as not eating or drastically restricting calories for a set period of time. Several fad diets promote fasting for weight loss. They allow some food but limit calories to less than 800 per day, saying that you will lose weight quickly if you follow their instructions. A fasting diet like the cabbage soup diet is one example. It entails merely eating cabbage soup and drinking water for a set period of time. Unfortunately, these diets make claims with no support, like losing a pound a day for a month or getting rid of toxins from your body. Fasting can help you lose weight. However, doing so without the supervision of a medical expert is a dangerous practice that can lead to additional weight gain in the long term and cause serious health problems. Is fasting for weight loss safe and effective? Fasting, in general, is neither safe nor helpful in long-term weight loss. However, young people in good health may be able to practice intermittent water fasting safely. Still, they should consult their doctor to see if they can, and, if so, how they should go about doing it. Excessive calorie restriction can lead to weight gain in the future by increasing your appetite and slowing your metabolic rate. While most healthy weight loss plans include calorie restriction, particularly from processed meals, they rarely incorporate fasting. When the body doesn't get enough calories to function normally, it goes into what's known as starvation mode, slowing down and storing calories. Starvation mode lowers the metabolism, making weight loss more difficult in the future. Getting enough of the proper kind of calories is the key to successful weight loss and wellness. Nutritionists can give you advice on a healthy diet and how many calories to consume based on your current weight, height, and age, as well as your weight loss objectives. The dangers of fasting for an extended period of time. Fasting can have drawbacks. Fasting, or simply not obtaining enough calories and fluids, might, for example, lead to electrolyte imbalances, heart arrhythmias, feeling dizzy or fainted, dehydration, stones in the gallbladder, muscle loss, metabolic rate decreases, constipation, cold intolerance, blood sugar levels drop and rise quickly. Some individuals should never fast. Women who are pregnant, breastfeeding women, diabetes patients, children and the elderly, people who suffer from long-term illness or condition. How to lose weight without hurting yourself. The most effective approach to losing weight is including healthy food and exercise into your lifestyle and eating habits. In the long run, this is far more effective than fad diets or even dieting in any manner. Before beginning any diet plan, see your doctor or meet with a nutritionist or dietitian to ensure it is good for you and not severely restricting your calories or nutrition. In addition, consult your doctor to determine which types of exercises are healthy for you and how much training you require to reach your health and weight loss objectives. Doctors, dietitians, and nutritionists may give you the following advice on how to lose weight safely. Most days of the week, you should exercise. You may reach your health and weight loss objectives by combining a healthy, balanced diet with exercise. Choose exercises that you enjoy. You'll be more inclined to follow through. It's also important to realize that you don't have to work out all at once. If it's easier for you to take 4 10-minute walks rather than one 40-minute walk, go for it. Just make sure your heart rate is up. Many people find that wearing a step counter, such as a Fitbit, helps them get adequate exercise. Initially, aim for 10,000 steps each day. Make sure you drink plenty of water. If drinking a lot of plain water is challenging for you, try adding lemon, other fruits, or cucumber slices to your water. Sugar-flavored sodas and drinks should be avoided. Fruit juice, even if it doesn't have added sugar, should be consumed in moderation. You're much better off eating the fruit to reap the nutritional and fiber benefits. Avoid diet soda and other drinks flavored with artificial sweeteners. According to a recent long-term study, women who drank 2 or more diet sodas per day had a considerably elevated risk of stroke and heart disease. Consume a variety of fresh vegetables. A decent rule of thumb is to consume a range of hues and darker vegetables. Leafy greens are an excellent choice. Iceberg lettuce is light and won't harm you, but it won't give you much of what you need. People like to load it up with dressing because it has little flavor, changing it from healthy food to a junk snack. Fresh veggies are a great way to gain nutrition without adding many calories or bad fats to your diet. Avocados, for example, are high in folic acid and provide a good supply of healthy fat. Choose proteins that are low in fat. Protein is an essential component of any diet, although some forms are healthier than others. Choose white flesh poultry, such as chicken or turkey, fish, almonds, legumes, beans, peas, peanuts, alfalfa, and low-fat dairy if you eat meat, milk, cottage cheese. Eggs are an excellent source of protein as well. Still, they include fat and cholesterol, so consult your doctor or nutritionist about how many eggs you should consume each week. Avoid processed meats, sodium, and other preservatives. For example, although certain lunch meats are free of nitrites and nitrates, most of them still have a high salt level. In addition, ham, corned beef, and sausages aren't the healthiest or most weight loss friendly foods. The majority of your food should be purchased from fresh food aisles. You'll be well on your way to eating as you should for optimal health if you fill your cart with fresh items. Choose whole grains whenever possible. When buying bread, pasta, or crackers, look for products that list a whole grain as the first component. Oats are also an excellent source of whole grains. Avoid eating white bread and other products made with bleached flour. If at all feasible, you should consume complex carbohydrates. If you make a mistake, don't be too concerned. You don't have to give up sweet or salty sweets if you live a healthy lifestyle and eat well. Just don't do it every day. Adding this recommendation to any fasting plan will help ensure weight loss and a healthy lifestyle for years to come. The different types of fasting: intermittent, alternate day, and extended fasting. If you thought fasting was only for religious reasons, you were mistaken. Intermittent fasting, IF, a relatively new weight loss phenomenon, is quickly becoming a popular health and fitness trend. During IF, you alternate between eating and fasting periods. Fasting patterns or cycles are commonly used to characterize this style of eating. There are variously visible intermittent fasting strategies, but it all comes down to personal preference. Some people find fasting for 16 hours and then meals for 8 hours of the day best when intermittent fasting, such as eating from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., then fasting, while others struggle and need to shorten their fasting window. While some studies have indicated the benefits of intermittent fasting, including weight loss, decreased blood pressure, and improved metabolic health, more research is needed, particularly on the long-term effects of intermittent fasting. There's also the issue of long-term viability. It is not for everyone to severely restrict calories or go without food for long periods of time. According to several studies, persons who practice intermittent fasting are less likely to stick to it than those who try to lose weight on more typical diets. Intermittent fasting can be a perfect way to lose weight, but so have other methods of losing weight like eating a well-balanced diet and exercise. According to one study, intermittent fasting is no more effective than other well-balanced weight loss plans or blood sugar control techniques. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all strategy to weight management. IF may be sustainable for some people, but it isn't for others. Before you try intermittent fasting, you'll need to work out your eating times into your life, especially when it comes to social activities and being active. When preparing to fast, One of your decisions is what foods to abstain from your daily eating. The other concern is the type of fast you will perform. Will you be fasting alone or with others? How long will you be fasting? The majority of my fasts are private, long-duration, water-only fasts. This is the most challenging type of fast, and, as a result, it is the most effective. However, most people will take a long time to become used to this, and many will never attempt such a fast. We'll look at the several types of fasts you can do in this chapter. Intermittent fasting. There is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all approach to weight loss. For some people, intermittent fasting may be a viable option, but for others, it isn't. First, let us take a look at the types of intermittent fasting. 7 types of intermittent fasting to consider. There are a lot of various methods to do IF, which is fantastic. If this is something you're interested in, you can choose the type that best suits your needs, increasing your chance of success. Here are 7 of them. Number 1. Fasting in a 5-2 ratio. This is one of the most widely used IF techniques. The book, The Fast Diet, popularized it and explained everything you need to know about it. The goal is to eat normally for 5 days, without counting calories, and then consume 500 or 600 calories per day for women and men, respectively, for the remaining 2 days. The fasting days can be whatever days you want. Short fasting periods are thought to keep you cooperative. If you get hungry on a fast day, just think about tomorrow when you can feast again. Some individuals say, I can do anything for 2 days, but cutting back on what I eat for 7 days is too much, Kumar adds. For some folks, a 5-2 approach may be preferable to calorie restriction throughout the week. However, the authors of The Fast Diet advise against fasting on days when you're performing a lot of endurance training. If you're training for a cycle race or running race, or a high mileage week, see a sports nutritionist to see if this form of fasting will work with your training schedule. Number 2. Fasting with a time limit. This sort of IF requires you to pick an eating window each day, which should leave you with a 14 to 16 hour fast. Women should not fast for more than 14 hours each day due to hormonal considerations. When liver glycogen is depleted, fasting stimulates autophagy, a natural cellular housekeeping process in which the body clears trash and other items that get in the way of mitochondrial health. In addition, fasting may assist in fat cell metabolism and insulin function optimization. Set your dining window, for example, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to make this work. This is especially useful if you have a family that eats dinner early anyway. Then there's the fact that much of the time spent fasting will be during sleeping. Dependent on when you set your window, you also don't have to miss any meals. Again, however, this is contingent on your ability to stay consistent and may be very difficult to maintain, especially if your schedule is constantly changing or if you desire the freedom to go out on occasion. Number 3. Fasting for an entire night. This method is the most basic of the lot and entails fasting for 12 hours every day. Consider the following scenario. Choose to stop eating by 7 p.m. after supper and begin eating at 7 a.m. the next day with breakfast. At the 12-hour point, autophagy still occurs, but the cellular benefits are milder. This is the bare minimum of fasting hours when fasting at night. Number 4. Stop eating and start eating again. In his book, Eat, Stop, Eat, The Shocking Truth That Makes Weight Loss Simple Again, author Brad Pilon created this strategy. His strategy differs from others in that it emphasizes adaptability. So defined, he underlines that fasting is simply abstaining from meals for a period of time. Then, you commit to a physical exercise regimen and 1 or 2 24-hour fasts every week. When your fast is finished, I want you to eat appropriately and act as if it never happened. That is all there is to it. I don't do anything else, he claims on his website. Responsibly eating entails returning to a regular eating routine in which you don't gorge because you've just fasted. Still, you also don't starve yourself or eat less than you require. Fat loss is best achieved by combining intermittent fasting with regular weight training, according to Pilon. You can also eat a somewhat higher quantity of calories on the remaining 5 or 6 non-fasting days if you go on 1 or 2 24-hour fasts during the week. He claims this makes it easier and more fun to conclude the week in a calorie deficit without feeling compelled to go on a strict diet. Number 5. Fasting for the entire day. You just eat once a day here. Some folks eat dinner and then wait until the next day's dinner to eat again. That means you'll be fasting for 24 hours and is not the same as the 5-2 method. Fasting periods are typically 24 hours, dinner to supper, or lunch to lunch, whereas 5-2 requires a 36-hour fast. For example, you might have dinner on Sunday, then go on a 500 to 600 calorie fast on Monday before breaking it with breakfast on Tuesday. The benefit is that, if done for weight loss, eating an entire day's worth of calories in one sitting is extremely difficult, but not impossible. The problem with this strategy is that it's challenging to receive all of the nutrients your body requires in just one meal. Not to mention, sticking to this strategy is challenging. By the time your dinner arrives, you may be ravenous, leading you to consume less than healthy, calorie-dense foods. Consider this. When you're hungry, broccoli isn't precisely the first thing that comes to mind. Many people consume excessive amounts of coffee to satisfy their appetite, which can disrupt their sleep. If you don't eat, you may get brain fog throughout the day. Number 6. Fasting on alternate days. By week 2, the participants' adverse effects, such as hunger, had subsided, and by week 4, they felt more fulfilled on a diet. The negative is that participants felt they were never full during the 8 weeks of the study, making it difficult to stick to this plan. Number 7. Pick your own day fasting. It's more of a pick your own experience here. You might undertake time-restricted fasting every other day or once or twice a week, fast for 16 hours, eat for 8, for example. That means you might have a typical day of eating on Sunday and stop eating by 8 p.m., then start eating again at midday on Monday. It's the equivalent of skipping breakfast a couple times a week. Alternate day. You can eat whatever you want one day and nearly nothing the next. Alternate fasting, a type of intermittent fasting used for weight loss and heart health, is based on this concept. Depending on the plan, alternate day fasting involves a feast schedule and fasting days, providing few to no calories. Alternate day fasting can be approached in a variety of ways. This is the distinction between intermittent fasting and alternate day fasting. Changing up your fasting schedule is a good idea. Some people stick to the schedule by fasting every other day and eating normally the rest of the time. Others prefer a modified 5-2 diet. You eat anything you want for 5 days and then limit your caloric intake to 500 to 600 calories for the remaining 2 days. Other options include zero-calorie alternate day fasting, which alternates 12 hours of unlimited food with 36 hours of no eating. The Eat, Stop, Eat method, which demands a 24-hour fast once or twice a week, is also an option. Learn more about the different fasting schedules for alternate days. The purpose of alternate day fasting is to flip your metabolic switch so that your body burns fat for energy rather than stored glucose. This usually occurs within 8 to 72 hours. We find ketones in your bloodstream in 8 hours, and the entire process takes 24 to 72 hours. Ketones build up in your bloodstream while your body breaks down fat. This is known as ketosis, and it occurs when your body burns fat for energy. When you don't have enough sugar in your system, your body produces ketones as a source of energy. Fasting on alternate days has health benefits. Regardless of the method you use, the benefits of alternate day fasting may extend beyond weight loss to include improved heart health, disease reduction, and possibly increased longevity. Longevity may be improved. Other health benefits improve as a result of weight loss. Participants in one study ate 35% fewer calories. They lost 7.7 pounds over the course of a month when they cycled between 36 hours of zero-calorie consumption and 12 hours of unlimited eating. Fasters continued to burn fat for fuel even on feasting days, according to the study published in Cell Metabolism. Furthermore, fasters had lower levels of SICAM1, a marker of age-related disease and inflammation, as well as tritothyronine, a hormone. Meanwhile, according to a study published in the Journals of Gerontology, Series A, lower amounts of this hormone may help people live longer. Alternate day fasters had lower cholesterol levels and less belly fat. Belly fat is a harmful type of fat because it produces inflammatory chemicals that increase the risk of heart disease, liver disease, diabetes, and other health problems. It may help your heart. An alternate fasting diet that results in weight loss can improve heart health, particularly in overweight and obese adults. For example, after completing a modified 10-week trial of alternate day fasting, 12 obese women and 4 obese men saw a drop in body fat, low-density lipoprotein, LDL, bad cholesterol levels, total cholesterol, triacylglycerols, systolic blood pressure, and heart rate, according to a small clinical trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. After 8 weeks, the participants had lost an average of 5.8% of their body weight. The researchers concluded that following an alternate day fasting diet can help obese people lose weight while protecting their heart health. Improves the body's insulin response. Alternate day fasting increased the body's reaction to insulin by more than twice as much as a standard calorie-restricting diet, according to a 2019 study published in Obesity. Diabetes causes people to stop producing insulin or become resistant to its effects. Blood sugar or glucose levels rise as a result of this. Insulin resistance is a risk factor for the development of type 2 diabetes. Blood pressure and insulin resistance are reduced in all types of fasting trials. Still, reductions in harmful blood fats like triglycerides and bad or lower density lipoprotein cholesterol vary and are more dramatic in those who already have high levels of these blood fats. This may or may not apply to women. Autophagy is activated. Fasting may also activate autophagy, a process in which your body does deep cleaning, removing damaged cells and replacing them with new ones. Getting started with alternate day fasting. Alternate day fasting is more difficult to stick to than other fasts because it requires calorie counting every other day. She also points out that going so long without eating can be difficult for some people. On fast days, instead of feeling hungry, you should feel energized. It's okay to resume your exercise routine after your body has adjusted and you feel energized. Exercise is not difficult on fast days because people frequently feel a surge of energy. Fasting on alternate days takes some getting accustomed to, but most people acclimatize within 10 days. You can drink as many calorie-free beverages as you want on fasting days. Water, tea, and coffee are among these beverages. On fasting days, some people allow for a low-calorie diet. During these days, you should aim to consume no more than 500 calories. To feel fuller with reduced caloric intake when fasting, use high-protein foods and low-calorie veggies for meals. Soups, veggies, yogurt with berries, and a salad with some lean meats are appropriate meal alternatives. Is it working for you to fast on alternate days? Fasting on alternate days is not for everyone, and it's a good idea to get your doctor's approval before making any significant lifestyle changes. Pay attention to your body. Intermittent fasting should make you feel great in general. However, if you have any adverse symptoms like hunger, exhaustion, nausea, or headaches, talk to your doctor or a healthcare provider familiar. Try to figure out why they're happening and how to fix them. Many of these symptoms could cause dehydration, which can occur when you're fasting. Not everyone is suited to intermittent fasting. You'll need a manner of eating that you can maintain over time. If you lose weight on a diet and then return to your old eating habits, you will gain it back. Who should refrain from fasting on alternate days? Women who are pregnant, lactating, or under the age of 25 should not be fasting. In addition, it is not recommended if you take insulin or other diabetes treatments, any prescription that must be taken with food, or if you have a seizure disorder like epilepsy. Also, suppose you work with heavy machinery or are at risk for eating disorders or disordered eating. In that case, it's not a good choice. The schedule. Sunday, fast. 500 calories for women, 600 for men. Monday, healthy eating. Tuesday, fast. 500 calories for women, 600 for men. Wednesday, healthy eating. Thursday, fast. 500 calories for women, 600 for men. Friday, healthy eating. Saturday, fast. 500 calories for women, 600 for men. On fast days, what to eat and drink. On fast days, you can have as many zero-calorie beverages as you want in addition to eating up to 500 or 600 calories. To feel fuller for longer fasting days, go for 50 grams of protein plus low-calorie greens like a salad with grilled chicken or beans. For example, a cup of cooked lentils contains 18 grams of protein, whereas 4 ounces of roasted chicken breast contains 35 grams. Protein on average supplies 4 calories per gram. On non-fasting days, what to eat and drink. You can eat whatever you want on feast days. It doesn't appear to matter what kind of food you eat as long as your overall calorie intake is reduced. According to research on intermittent fasting, most people don't overeat on feast days, despite fasting every other day. Benefits. Individuals using alternate day fasting can often lose 10 to 15 pounds in 3 months, which is more than other intermittent fasting plans. Blood pressure and insulin resistance, a precursor to type 2 diabetes, have also been reduced in studies. Insulin resistance develops when your body becomes resistant to the actions of the hormone insulin. As a result, blood sugar, or glucose, accumulates in your body, posing a health risk over time. Autophagy, a deep cellular cleanup that allows your body to get rid of old, damaged cells and replace them with fresh, new ones, may be prompted by these fasts. Drawbacks. It's not for everyone. According to research published in JAMA Internal Medicine in 2017, 38% of alternate day fasters quit, compared to 29% of typical dieters who limit calories. Some people may find it difficult to follow. Not everyone enjoys calorie counting every day. It takes time to acclimatize to this manner of eating. However, on average, alternate day fasters tend to gain control of their hunger in approximately 10 days. On fasts, most people report feeling energized at that time. The Fast 5-2. The 5-2 diet, sometimes known as the fast diet, is a popular variant of alternate day fasting. This modified fasting consists of 2 days of calorie restriction, 500 calories for men, 600 calories for women, followed by 5 days of eating whatever you want. You have the option of fasting one or both days. The schedule. Sunday, fast, 500 calories for women, 600 for men. Monday, healthy eating. Tuesday, healthy eating. Wednesday, fast, 500 calories for women, 600 for men. Thursday, healthy eating. Friday, healthy eating. Saturday, healthy eating. On fast days, what to eat and drink. High-protein foods can help you feel satisfied for extended periods. As with alternate day fasting, adhere to the 50 gram per day limit. Make sure you stay hydrated by drinking plenty of water. You can only have one large meal in the day or split the calories between 2 or 3 smaller meals. On non-fasting days, what to eat and drink. The bigger the benefits, the healthier your choices are, but not what you consume matters. Although eating fewer processed meals and more fruits, veggies, healthy grains, and lean proteins makes sense, the essential thing is to cut calories in the long run. Benefits. Although this kind of alternate day fasting is less rigorous, it has resulted in equal weight loss. If alternate day fasting is too demanding, 5-2 is one of the most straightforward schedules. In terms of overall health, the 5-2 regimen appears to be comparable to traditional alternate day fasting. Stroke and heart attack are both linked to high triglyceride levels. Systolic blood pressure was also lower in the 5-2 fasters, the pressure in your blood vessels when your heart beats. Autophagy, a process in which your cell removes protein buildup and dead or damaged cell components, may be aided by this form of alternate day fast. A study published in the JAMA Network Open in 2018 found that persons with type 2 diabetes lose weight and have better blood sugar control when they follow the 5-2 diet. Always consult with your doctor before beginning any form of fast if you have diabetes. Drawbacks. 5-2 may be difficult to maintain over time, similar to alternate day fasting. If you aren't careful, you can become dehydrated and you may not feel good at first on fasting days. Eat, Stop, Eat. Based on the famous book by Brad Pilon, the Eat, Stop, Eat method calls for a 24-hour fast once or twice a week. This is effectively a 12-hour extension of your overnight fast. This strategy ensures that you never go a whole day without eating. You would have breakfast before 8 a.m. on the first day if you fasted from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. Sunday, fast from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Monday. Monday, healthy eating. Tuesday, healthy eating. Wednesday, healthy eating. Thursday, fast from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. Friday. Friday, healthy eating. Saturday, healthy eating. On fast days, what to eat and drink. You are allowed to drink as much water or zero-calorie beverages as you want, but just that. On non-fasting days, what to eat and drink. On feast days, you can eat whatever you want. just as on other alternate day fasting regimes. Healthy choices, on the other hand, are encouraged. Benefits. This strategy is more likely to be adhered to than alternate day fasting. This is because it may provide similar weight loss advantages due to calorie restriction. It may also assist fasters in flipping their metabolic switch, allowing them to begin burning fat for fuel. Drawbacks. It can lead to dehydration on fasting days if you're not careful, just like other ways. Unfortunately, there are presently no studies testing Eat Stop Eat as a weight loss strategy. 36 to 12. Zero-calorie alternate day fasting is a term used to describe this extreme kind of fasting. It entails alternating between 36 hours of calorie-free eating and 12 hours of unlimited eating. When you wake up, you eat breakfast, eat any other meals inside a 12-hour window, and fast for 36 hours until the next window opens. Sunday, healthy eating between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday, fast. Tuesday, healthy eating between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Wednesday, fast. Thursday, healthy eating between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Friday, fast. Saturday, healthy eating between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. On fast days, what to eat and drink. On fast days, you can drink as many zero-calorie beverages as you like, but that's it. To avoid dehydration, drink plenty of water. On fasting days, drink roughly 64 ounces of water. Drink extra if you're thirsty, but keep an eye out for electrolyte imbalances. Also, ask your daughter if you need to take electrolyte supplements to avoid the symptoms of electrolyte deficiency, which include thirst, headaches, a racing heart, and seizures. On feast days, what to eat and drink. There are no hard and fast laws concerning what you can and can't consume on feast days. The healthier your selections, like with other forms of fasts, the higher the benefits are likely to be. Benefits. According to a study published in Cell Metabolism in 2019, 36 to 12 runners consumed 35% fewer calories. They dropped nearly 8 pounds in a month. Furthermore, even on feasting days, fasters continued to burn fat. When participants were allowed to eat normally, they made up for some, but not all of the calories they had missed out on during the fast. Cholesterol, abdominal fat, and inflammation-related indicators were all lower in the fasters. They also discovered favorable alterations in a hormone that could help people live longer. Drawbacks. The 36 to 12 diet, like other alternate day fasting strategies, can cause dehydration, exhaustion, and, if you're prone to fainting. Fasting periods of 48 and 72 hours are not recommended. The 48-hour fasting is for a more extended period. It entails ingesting no calories on 2 days and eating a regular diet for the remaining. Fasting for 72 hours consists of a 3-day fast followed by 4 days of normal eating. These are technically water fasts, and they are potentially dangerous. On fast days, what to eat and drink. On fast days, you can drink as many zero-calorie beverages as you want. However, only pure water is permitted during strict water fasting. On non-fasting days, what to eat and drink. On non-fasting days, everything goes. Although complete plant-based foods are a better choice for overall health and well-being than processed foods. In the 2 days, drink plenty of water, eat fresh fruits and vegetables. Drink juice after the fast has ended and gradually reintroduce solid plant-based foods with no added sugar, oil, or salt. Benefits. Because you are reducing your calorie intake, you will lose weight. The fasting may cause some of the same alterations as other alternate day fasting regimens, but additional research is needed. According to a study published in 2016 in BMC Cancer, fasting for 72 hours before chemotherapy to treat cancer may lessen some of the adverse effects by shielding normal cells. In addition, there is some evidence linking high blood pressure, diabetes, epilepsy, and other disorders to health benefits. Drawbacks. This is dangerous and should only be attempted under medical care. Suppose you fast for more than 18 hours a day regularly. In that case, you are more likely to get painful gallstones and need surgery to remove your gallbladder. During prolonged water fasts, you may feel queasy and exhausted. Headache, pain, and indigestion are all possible adverse effects. Fasting can have a negative impact on your mood as well as your social life. Fasting has its place in the healing process. However, this does not imply that everyone should participate. Extended fasting. Fasting for 12 to 36 hours at regular intervals, also known as intermittent fasting, is all the rage right now. However, once you've fasted for 36 hours, you've left intermittent fasting and entered the realm of extended fasting. Fasting for longer periods of time, also known as extended fasting, is nothing new. Since the dawn of time, humans have gone without food for extended periods. During these fasts, our forefathers burned body fat to fuel their hunting and gathering activities. According to a growing body of evidence, extended fasts are now thought to be safe and beneficial for the majority of people. This, however, does not imply that extended fasting is appropriate for everyone, or that it is simple. How does an extended fast work? An extended fast is when you go without eating food for a long period of time, usually over 36 hours, but you can drink water, electrolytes, and non-caloric beverages during that time. Consider extended fasting to be a more intense version of intermittent fasting. The effects are similar, but they are amplified due to the longer periods of time without food. Fasting has a significant impact on your metabolism or how you use energy. This is because fasting activates a metabolic switch that shifts your body from sugar burning to fat burning mode. Fat is stored in the body for precisely this reason, to provide energy when food is in short supply. You can fuel yourself for an astonishingly long time if you have enough body fat. A morbidly obese man was fasted for 382 days by researchers in the 1970s. Because his extended fast was fueled by body fat, he started at 456 pounds and ended at 180 pounds with no severe side effects. Extended fasting is beneficial for a variety of reasons, including weight loss. Let's take a look at the top 4 reasons to fast. Fasting for a longer period of time has its advantages. Why do people fast for longer periods of time? Let's take a look at the advantages. Loss of weight. Longer periods of fasting, as you might expect, cause weight loss. PLOS1 published a study in 2019 that followed 1,422 volunteers on an extended fasting program for a year. The participants had lost a significant amount of weight by the end of the study. It's important to remember that most weight lost during the fast will be water weight, especially if you're not fat adapted. This means that when you resume your everyday eating habits, you will most likely gain some weight. However, as your metabolism adjusts to burning fat for energy, fat loss will account for a more significant portion of your weight loss. Blood sugar and insulin levels should be lower. Unfortunately, type 2 diabetes is characterized by high blood sugar and insulin levels. This severe metabolic disorder affects 1 out of every 10 Americans. Fasting reduces blood sugar levels in all forms, but longer fasts move the needle further and faster. Dr. Jason Fung, best-selling author of The Complete Guide to Fasting, has successfully reversed type 2 diabetes using intermittent fasting and extended fasting protocols in his Toronto clinic. Ketosis. Fasting lowers insulin levels, as previously stated. As a result, your liver will begin to burn fat and produce ketones. Ketones serve various purposes, but their primary function is as a source of energy for the brain. Higher ketone levels were linked to improved mental performance in older adults in one study. This means that fasting induces ketosis, which is thought to boost cognitive function. Autophagy. Your cells activate a recycling program called autophagy without nutrients, i.e., during a fast. Consider autophagy as an anti-aging cleaning system. Old, damaged cell parts go in, and newer features emerge. Longer fasts, on average, activate more autophagy than shorter ones. Autophagy helps your cells stay vital and healthy, even though we can't measure it in humans, and you won't feel it. So, fast for a more extended period of time can increase your cell recycling and sustenance. Let's take a look at the process now that you've learned about the advantages of fasting. Getting ready for an extended fast. It's best to ease into fasting if you're new to it. Starting with a 2-day fast is not a good idea. Instead, begin with overnight fasts and work your way up to 2-day or longer fasts. A 14 to 16 hour overnight fast has been shown to lower blood sugar, improve insulin function, and improve the wake-sleep cycle. This type of fasting usually involves 2 meals per day, one at 12 p.m. and one at 8 p.m., for example, or one at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. After a few weeks of overnight fasting, you can progress to 18 to 24-hour intermittent fasts. These shorter fasts aid fat adaptation, making longer fasts much easier to last anywhere from 2 days to a month. Another tip to help you use body fat as a source of energy? Before and after your fast, eat a ketogenic diet. Keto, like fasting, lowers insulin levels and primes your cells to burn fat rather than sugar. Getting out of your extended fast. Your stomach shrinks when you fast for days on end. It's critical not to overeat your first meal back to avoid indigestion. Instead, consider the small. Make your first meal a light one, such as a protein shake or a small portion of lean meat. Not only is protein easier to digest than fat, but it also prevents muscle catabolism, muscle loss. Wait about an hour after your mini meal before eating a regular size meal rich in healthy fats such as olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil. These fats will keep you in ketosis longer. To support the production of your thyroid hormones T3 and T4, eat iodine-rich foods like seaweed, shrimp, tuna, and eggs after a fast. This is particularly important for women who require more thyroid support when fasting. Suggestions for extended fasting success. These tips will help you succeed if you plan on fasting for more than 36 hours. Consider electrolytes. During a fast, insulin levels drop, resulting in increased sodium loss through urine. Taking potassium, magnesium, and phosphorus while fasting can help prevent the refeeding syndrome when essential minerals are depleted. At the same time, the body rebuilds glycogen, protein, and fat. Drink bone broth instead of electrolytes if you don't want to supplement. It's a high electrolyte superfood. During long fasts, drink a cup of bone broth twice a day. Although it contains a small amount of protein, it should not significantly impact your fasting. Hydrate. Fasting has a diuretic effect, which means you lose a lot of water. Non-caloric, unsweetened, non-dairy beverages like coffee, tea, bone broth, and yes, water can be used to replace those fluids. Defend yourself against hunger. Hunger does not increase throughout the fasting period, but rather ebbs and flows. The second day of an extended fast is when most people become hungry. It gets easier after that. Keep track of your speed. Use an app like the Life Fasting Tracker to make a fasting plan, track key metrics, and stay accountable. With others, you must be quick. This will assist you in remaining motivated. Plus, sharing metrics like fasted hours, ketone levels, and glucose ketone index (GKI) measurements are entertaining. Keep an eye on your ketone and glucose levels. Your ketone levels should rise and your glucose levels should fall as your fast signs of progress. This is a sign that your metabolism is appropriately adapting. Use an accurate at-home device like the Keto Mojo meter to track your ketones, glucose, and GKI for more information on these metrics. Is extended fasting right for you? The majority of people are likely to be able to cope with prolonged fasting with little difficulty. Less than 1% of the 1,422 non-obese participants experienced negative side effects in the fasting, as mentioned earlier. These fasts, however, were done in supervised clinical settings. Therefore, before making any significant dietary changes, always check with your primary care physician. In some cases, especially for those with type 2 diabetes, supervision is advised. Many people with diabetes take medications like insulin and metformin, which can cause dangerously low blood sugar levels during a fast if they aren't adjusted properly. The following groups should avoid extended fasting: people who are overweight, children, anyone who suffers from an eating disorder. Finally, hunger is natural during a fast. On the other hand, hypoglycemia can make you feel shaky, dizzy, or weak, low blood sugar. That's a sign that it's time to break the fast. What to expect when starting to fast. For millennia, many people worldwide, especially those who do not have easy access to food, have eaten in this manner. In the United States, my fellow citizens have the luxury of eating 3 meals per day, and we have the guts to challenge anyone who claims that we can get by with less. But that's a discussion for another time. This article will provide an overview of intermittent fasting and 3 of the most prevalent ways. Then I'll tell you what to expect when you give it a try. I won't bore you with all of the facts and research because I already do that at work. What is intermittent fasting and how does it work? Intermittent fasting, or IF, is a straightforward dietary strategy. It usually entails restricting your eating hours, followed by periods of very low or no calorie consumption. This usually entails skipping breakfast and eating correctly for the remainder of the day. Quick note, many IFers despise it when individuals say they don't have breakfast. No matter when you eat it, the first meal you eat will always break your overnight fast. It's just some food for thought. However, IF isn't just another diet fad or trend. It's not even close to being a diet. The only restriction you have on IF is the time you eat. This is the reason individuals choose intermittent fasting. Almost all diets or nutrition plans can be adapted to the IF framework. It doesn't matter if you're vegan, keto, or paleo, intermittent fasting will work for you. But why do intermittent fasting isn't a diet, and you don't change what you eat? In a single word, I'll respond to that question. Stability. Yes, research suggests that intermittent fasting, IF, has anti-aging, muscle building, and mental strengthening benefits, some of which I'll go over later. But the most important benefit is the consistency it brings to your practice. We all know what will happen when our coworker stops following the latest diet fad, if they were ever truly on it to begin with. They'll quickly regain their weight. What is the reason for this? Because their determination is their only weapon against a relapse, they never develop a way to control their eating, and therefore their bodies. As a result, individuals are locked in a cycle of losing and gaining weight until they give up. Then it stays for a long time. This is when IF comes in handy. Even if you're not on a diet, it helps you maintain a disciplined approach to your eating. Fasting also permits your body to use up the energy provided by your meals before turning to other sources, one of which is body fat. So let's have a look at some of the most prominent IF techniques. Then I'll show you what to expect if you give it a shot. Methods of intermittent fasting. The 16-8 method. Lean Gains method is another name for this method. Martin Berkhan popularized it. My bread and butter are the 16-8 fasting method. I've been so acclimated to it that it's become second nature to me. It is the most long-lasting and beginner-friendly type of IF. This approach usually entails a 16-hour fast followed by an 8-hour eating window. Women are encouraged to fast for 14 to 15 hours due to differences in body composition and fasting consistency. Every day from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m., I eat. Then I fast for the remainder of the day. And when you think about it, it's not that difficult. The majority of folks only need to extend their overnight fast by a few hours. Others may favor various eating windows, and I'm modifying mine based on the day. Still, I prefer 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. because sleep may be used to catapult you into a fasting state. I usually sleep from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., so it only takes me 4 hours from when I wake up to breakfast. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? I like 16-8 since it's simple to start, but it also benefits from being done daily. Long fasting once or twice a week is a popular IF style. However, suppose you use this strategy frequently enough. In that case, you'll become accustomed to the fasted condition and how your body reacts to it. Human growth hormone, HGH, levels rise dramatically in the fasting condition, according to research. If you enjoy strength training, this is one of the key reasons this method was developed. However, for the majority of my early adult life, I was an athlete, and the prospect of devoting so much time to my body once more is terrifying. As a result, rather than gaining mass, I used this strategy to stay thin. The fast diet is another name for the 5-2 method. Michael Mosley is credited with popularizing the term. The 5-2 approach is an intermittent fasting style in which you usually eat for 5 days and then fast for the remaining 2. I include it because it appears to be one of the more general approaches, but I've never eaten this way and have no intention of doing so in the future. The reason for this is that each of the 2 days off needs roughly 500 to 600 calories, and if you've ever tried intermittent fasting, IF, or dieting in general, you know how painful that can be. As strange as it may seem, going a day without food is easier than eating such a small amount of food. Your body will go into a fasting condition if you don't eat. As you progress through the fast, your hunger will lessen. If you eat 500 calories, however, your body will never enter the fasted condition. It will also try to extract energy from food that isn't present. This is simply starvation, a harmful habit that is incorrectly associated with any form of fasting, and it feeds people's dreads of IF. I'm sure a lot of research went into this strategy, and there's probably data to back it up, so I'm not going to criticize it too harshly. There are simply better ones out there, in my opinion, so let's get this party started. Brad Pilon popularized the 24-hour fast. Alternative name, Eat Stop Eat. My second most used IF strategy is the 24-hour fast, also known as the Eat, Stop, Eat method. These 24-hour fasts should be done once or twice a week with regular meals in between. Going the equivalent of a day without eating may appear frightening at first. However, because of how the scheduling works, you will still be able to eat on consecutive days. This theory indicates that if I finish my last meal at 6 p.m. on Monday, I can eat again at 6 p.m. on Tuesday. Yes, it appears challenging at first, and if you don't work up to it, it's not too difficult if you're used to the 16 to 8 approach. Hunger usually peaks between the ages of 18 and 20 hours, and after you've passed that, it's all downhill from there. I would just encourage anyone to keep occupied during the fast, particularly their first time. And when I say busy, I don't mean at the workplace. It's fantastic if you have a project to work on your own time, but it's difficult to do so in an office setting. That's why, on weekdays, I do 16 to 8 and save the 24 hours for the weekend if I can. Overall, this is a good approach for resetting after periods of binge eating, and I do it at least twice a month on average. What to expect from intermittent fasting. It's one thing to look at the IF approaches and see what appears to be feasible. It's one thing to know what to expect before you attempt it. Number 1. You're going to be uneasy. I must acknowledge that it is not for everyone, even though I support intermittent fasting. Even the 16 to 8 method's short fast might produce major health problems for some people. As a result, it is always a good idea to check with your doctor before making any changes to your diet or eating habits. Fasting should be avoided by people with diabetes, pregnant women, and anybody under 18. I would also encourage folks who are not at a low body fat percentage to stay away from it. It's best to get your typical diet in order first if you're currently overweight or have an unhealthy eating pattern. Fasting is a strategy to give your body a healthy amount of stress to develop stronger. However, if you're already dealing with a lot of stress, you don't want to add to it. Suppose you're a suitable candidate for IF. In that case, you should expect some minor side effects at first, such as increased hunger, light headaches, and mental fog. However, these are small difficulties that will go away once you've become accustomed to IF. However, these should only be minor side effects. Stop what you're doing and eat as quickly as possible if they become more than mildly irritating. Never force yourself to fast. Weightlifting is all about pain, not IF. Increase your fasting hours only once your body is completely comfortable with your existing eating window. Number 2. You'll experience actual hunger. Those who use intermittent fasting can appreciate knowing what actual hunger feels like. It is, however, a barrier for individuals who are just beginning. It will seem strange the first time you extend your overnight fast. It's almost as though you're doing something incorrectly. The human body, on the other hand, is a marvel. It can adapt to practically any situation if you give it enough time. If you train your body to anticipate 3 large meals simultaneously every day, it will hunger at those times. Likewise, your appetite will adapt if you train your body to expect all its calories in 8 hours. When most individuals are hungry, they don't even require food. They're probably just thirsty, or they're used to eating at that time, or they've used up all the energy from their previous meal. However, once you've become used to IF, you'll notice that hunger always peaks before subsiding. Then it's more mental than physical. Of course, you should continue to pay attention to your body. If you're on the IF diet and always feel hungry, you need to eat more, maybe much more than you think. That is, however, the beauty of IF. It tailors your eating habits to your body's needs rather than desires. Number 3. You'll be able to manage your weight with ease. The simplest strategy to maintain your weight or body fat percentage is to practice intermittent fasting. For example, my maintenance level, or the amount of energy I need to stay in shape, is around 2,500 calories. I have an 8-hour IF eating window, so each day I consume 2 meals and a tiny snack, even if it's less on weekends. With such a small dining window, it's difficult to eat above maintenance. It's also difficult to be sufficiently hungry to do so. People new to IF believe you will be hungry when you break your fast, but I rarely get hungry until I know I'm about to eat. It's strange how it works. However, I now only eat above maintenance when I have made a conscious decision to do so. It's never because you're out of control. I used to be someone whose weight fluctuated by 10 to 15 pounds each year, but since IF, I've maintained a 5-pound weight loss for years. And I'm quite sure my body fat percentage is about the same. Number 4. You will develop a fondness for water. Do you want to know about a crucial but underappreciated part of fasting? You are unable to eat. You will lose your fasted condition if you consume more than roughly 50 calories. Yes, this is self-evident, yet I've seen many IF approaches that don't adhere to this simple concept, and I believe they are a waste of time. I've heard it said that you can drink any liquid as long as you don't eat solid food, or that you can eat 500 calories and still be fine. That might be great for what they're discussing, but it's not IF. Not to me, at least. Intermittent fasting's purpose is to maintain a fasted state regularly. That means you should only drink water throughout your fasting hours. You can drink as much water as you desire. You can also use black coffee or sugar-free gum, but there is no alternative for water. Because that's all I have during the fast, I drink it mostly during my meal window, but I've never been a big fan of squandering calories on things other than solid food. Number 5. You'll develop a habit of getting up earlier. Most individuals that fast, including myself, wait until later in the day to eat. As a result, we spend the early hours of the day fasting. Once you've gotten acclimated to being fasting, you'll notice a few advantages that will go away as soon as you eat. The clarity and focus of your mind will improve. You should substitute a different activity for eating. Your energy levels will also increase because your body will not be processing food. All of this creates ideal conditions for a morning person. I've always wanted to complete my most critical and difficult work first thing in the morning since I started intermittent fasting. I'll feel lazy, bored, and have a horrible case of do-it-tomorrow mindset if I wait until after I eat. To many who believe breakfast is an important meal of the day, this is blasphemy. However, after years of intermittent fasting, having breakfast at regular hours would be tantamount to sabotage. Number 6. You will disappoint your friends and family. The most significant impediment to IF isn't hunger or willpower. Other people are the most significant impediment. If you don't live in an environment where this kind of eating is the norm, expect to be disappointed as well as enticed by others. Food is not merely an energy source that you put into your body in most cultures. Instead, it serves as a social link, a creative outlet, and a source of pride. And there's no problem with that. I'm not so strict that I won't eat pizza and wings at a Super Bowl party. I simply know I won't be able to do it every night. Keep in mind that every meal is not a special event. People, not food, are responsible for having a good time. Unfortunately, however, not everyone is aware of this. Suppose you have children and other people living with you. In that case, it won't be easy to get started, especially if you have children. That's why I advocate finding an IF partner who is close to you. Then, you won't feel as if you're alone when everyone else is eating. However, you're bound to hurt people's sentiments at some point. So, just say that your decision has nothing to do with anyone else's. Alternatively, organize meetups during your eating window, if possible, so you can eat without disrupting your routine. If you continue to eat at a different hour, you could move that window as well. Number 7. You'll make binge eating a reward for yourself. The reward you get when you do indulge is the most gratifying aspect of a regulated diet. Yes, I do enjoy IF, but I also enjoy food. And I'm still a little addicted to Taco Bell, so I'll be the last person to tell you to eat healthy all of the time. That's a waste of time. My schedule can be a little too rigid at times. At other times, I may simply be empty. In any case, that's when I treat myself to a binge. Nothing is off limits. Whole pizzas for dinners, all the pancakes IHOP has to offer, or racks of ribs from the barbecue joint. During this moment, my goal is to let go so that both my body and mind are aware that I have chosen to discipline myself. I haven't been pushed to hold back by the environment. Even if I don't intend to binge, I consume high-calorie meals because I only eat 2 meals each day at maximum. When I eat in public, people laugh at me because of this. I've even had people tell me that I seem like I'm eating to stay alive, which is true in some ways. People probably assume it's a genetic thing or that my metabolism is extremely high. Still, they don't see the other 16, 20, or 24 hours when all I've done is drink water. For me, eating well is now a reward. I choose my locations, count the calories, and rely on my routine to compensate for the short-term brutality. Number 8. You'll learn or master a new skill. This may be a case of inferring causality from correlation, but IF is almost certain to improve your performance in any endeavor or interest. If you don't already have one, the fasting period will drive you to acquire one. You don't understand how much boredom makes you eat until you've gone without food for a while. As a result, once you begin IF, you'll need something to occupy your time. Reading and writing are two of my interests that have grown in popularity since I began. Solitaire activities like those became considerably more enjoyable as a result of the increased focus. And now, if I don't eat beforehand, I find it difficult to write anything. It doesn't have the same ring to it. To be successful in any endeavor, you must have that level of attention, and the mental clarity afforded by IF can quickly transform you into a master. Number 9. You will be able to control your emotions. Controlling other emotions will be a piece of cake once you've conquered a powerful emotion like hunger. Since I started Weather, I've had many people comment on how happy I am. They often question if I'm feeling anything at all. Emotions don't bother me as much as they used to. Even when I'm experiencing powerful emotions, I'm able to channel them into good outlets. Fasting isn't the only reason I have to justify my appearance. However, I've seen a growing stoicism in his manner. However, if you're always smiling and lively, this could be a disadvantage, so move cautiously. But that's a fascinating side effect that you don't often hear about, so I thought I'd bring it up here. Number 10. You'll learn how to survive. God forbid I'm ever forced to go days without eating, but IF has given me a lot greater chance of doing so if I ever am. I said earlier that I usually only get hungry when I'm going to eat, so if I choose not to eat, I don't have a problem with hunger. I put this information to the test a few years ago when I disobeyed my advice and kept my fast going longer than it should have been. Although the circumstances were certainly different than being compelled to do it, I was able to spend 3.5 days without eating. I got some time off work and felt like doing something, and, other than a brief period of discomfort around the 20-hour mark, I didn't feel horrible until the 3rd day. My legs began to hurt, and I needed to get back to work, so I called it a day. But that experience provided me the assurance that if I had to, I could hold off. Now, I don't recommend that you do the same thing. Before I achieved it, I had to build myself up for years. However, it demonstrates that when the body is properly trained, it is capable of incredible feats. Number 11. You will not want to return. Irregular fasting isn't a diet, it's a way of life. That is why you will never wish to return. I have no reason to change because I've been doing it for so long and with such good outcomes, but it would be difficult even if I tried. If I ate as early as most people, I'd be sick. Mornings would no longer be as enjoyable. Food wouldn't taste as wonderful if I was just eating for the sake of eating. Most individuals need to be persuaded to stay to their diets, but stopping IF would be detrimental. That's how good it is. Yes, it would be difficult for a few weeks, but I persevered and my body responded positively. I've gained more control over my body, health, and mental clarity thanks to IF, and I can't think of a good reason to stop doing it. How to ward off potential negative effects from fasting. Are you one of these people? Then you're probably thinking of intermittent fasting, IF, an increasingly popular form of limited eating in which you go without food for a set length of time. Intermittent fasting, which is the top trending diet on Google in 2019, has been praised by everyone from Jennifer Aniston to Giselle, is divided into 3 categories. The 5-2, or OMAD diet, in which you normally eat 5 days a week but only have 1 meal a day, 500 calories for women, 600 for men, twice a week. The 16-8, in which you eat within an 8-hour window each day and fast for 1 hour each day. Intermittent fasting, or IF to its devotees, tells you when to eat but not necessarily what to eat, as registered dietitian Jessica Cording puts it. It's being devoured by everyone from celebrities to sports, in part because it's been linked to weight loss. Is intermittent fasting a healthy way to eat? Isn't it intriguing? Certainly, a new study published in the New England Journal of Medicine reveals that intermittent fasting may help people live longer, improve heart health, lower blood pressure, and, yes, lose weight. Time feeding, as it's sometimes known, can improve cellular health by stimulating metabolic switching, a process in which cells use up their fuel stores and convert fat to energy, according to study author Mark Mattson, a professor of neurology at Johns Hopkins University, not to be confused with the keto diet, which severely restricts carbs and induces ketosis in the body. Furthermore, according to CNN, IF can increase tolerance to stress by enhancing brain function and neuroplasticity, or the brain's ability to adapt and develop throughout one's life, according to a previous study co-authored by Mattson. Other research suggests it may help slow the consequences of aging, and clinical trials have shown that it can help to reduce insulin resistance. Limiting your eating hours a bit can help your body stop focusing on digesting and instead spend some time on de-stressing, anti-inflammation, memory, immunity, and so much more, says Carolyn Brown, MS, RD. Fasting's potential benefits may sound appealing, but doing so without knowledge or caution can backfire spectacularly, leaving even the most virtuous among us vulnerable to binge eating when eating resumes, or causing health complications and discomfort. Mindy Kaling dubbed it 16 to hate for a reason. So here are 7 measures to guarantee that you're fasting safely. Number 1. Take it slowly at first. If you've only been jogging a mile or 2 per week, you won't be able to run a complete marathon, and the same is true for fasting. When you go on a 24-hour fast when you rarely skip a meal, the experience will be miserable, and you'll be that much closer to feasting when the fast is over. Rather, the build up to it. Shorten the fast and progressively increase the length of time between meals. But, of course, there's a reason why the 16 to 8 method of intermittent fasting is the most popular. It puts your brain, body, and willpower to the test. Number 2. Be mindful of what you eat when you do eat. When you eat, you shouldn't consume pepperoni pizza and chocolate croissants because you're intermittently fasting. Indeed, this could backfire and result in weight gain, to say nothing of the headaches, bloating, and gastrointestinal distress that may come with it. Rather, fill your plate with whole meals like fruit, vegetables, legumes, organic, humanely raised meat, eggs, and fish, and employ mindfulness to tune into your body's hunger signals. Take little bits between forkfuls and ask yourself if you're truly hungry or just bored, thirsty, or emotional, which, in sum, is eating mindlessly. Number 3. Do not fast for an extended period of time. Yes, Mattson has been intermittent fasting for 30 years, but this is simply unsustainable for the majority of us. Work schedules, social obligations, the need to replenish after an exercise, and even sustaining a healthy relationship can all easily conflict with time-feeding regulations. On the other hand, fasting for long periods deprives you of the vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients you require to function effectively. Extended fasting, according to WebMD, can cause anemia, a weaker immune system, liver and kidney problems, irregular heartbeat, vitamin and mineral shortages, muscular breakdown, and diarrhea, among other things. And the longer you fast, or the more fasts you do, the more serious these issues become. There is no such thing as a perfect body that is worth such suffering. Jennifer Wider, RD, suggests devising an exit strategy to reacquaint yourself with your body's normal hunger and satiation cues, as well as consulting a dietitian to create a more manageable long-term eating plan. Number 4. Modify your fitness routines. As appealing as it may seem, fasting deprives your body of the nutrients it requires to function, which can lead to decreased focus, irritability, talk about hangry, weariness, anxiousness, dizziness, and, of course, lower energy. Likewise, after not eating for 24 hours, thinking you can go to your favorite power weightlifting aerobic class could cause havoc with your biological system, increase cortisol production, and leave you wary. In summary, if you want to fast, you'll need to change your training routine. Walking and gentle yoga will be significantly more appealing and less likely to get you into such a frenzied state that you rob your kids' holiday candy hoard. Number 5. Drink plenty of water. Dehydration is a typical side effect of fasting, according to Medical News Today. Why? Food isn't providing any fluids to your body. Drink plenty of water, or go for sparkling mineral water, as the carbonation may help to alleviate the heartburn that often comes with fasting. Number 6. Supplement with a multivitamin. Taking a multivitamin is usually a smart idea because it provides a boost of nutrients that you might not be getting enough of from your diet alone. In addition, when you're fasting, it's much more important. VitaCost Synergy Multivitamin is a strong blend that will naturally support your energy levels. This outstanding product offers 22 vital vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, folate, and zinc, as well as green team CoQ10 and other health-supporting antioxidants. Number 7. Consult your doctor before making any decisions. Whether you're 25 or 50, going without food for an extended period can cause difficulties such as body aches and mood swings. While children, pregnant and lactating women, diabetics, and the elderly should avoid fasting entirely, you should still get medical advice before doing so, even if you do not fall into these categories. Intermittent fasting should not be attempted by people who have a history of eating disorders, for example. The anything goes mentality some experts enable during the feeding stage could drive someone to overeat, producing guilt, humiliation, and other problems that only get worse over time, fitness and nutrition expert J.J. Virgin said in the Huffington Post. Intermittent fasting could become a useful crutch for someone with emotional or psychological eating problems, amplifying these issues. Be open and honest with your doctor, and be ready if they suggest consulting a qualified dietitian instead for a better, more sustainable, and healthier approach. Best fasting for men and women. Fasting is a centuries-old discipline that still has a lot of benefits today. Whether as part of religious observance or for health reasons, fasting can be a very rewarding experience if done properly. Fasting has been increasingly popular in recent years, and, right now, people worldwide are fasting in preparation for the Christian season of Lent. However, while the benefits of fasting are widely acknowledged in both philosophical and medical realms, some may ask if there are any risks to fasting for the elderly. What exactly is fasting? In general, fasting is described as a period during which one does not consume food. Fasting can be done in a variety of ways. Traditionally, it entailed refraining from food, either entirely or only particular types of food, for a set time during the calendar year. Fasts for religious purposes, such as Lent and Ramadan, are still observed by many individuals each year. The goal of these fasts is to focus on meditation, reflection, and reorienting one's thoughts. Others fast primarily for the sake of their health. This can be a one-time cleanse to detoxify the body of excesses. However, it can also take the form of a succession or short daily or weekly fasts spaced out over an indeterminate period. Intermittent fasting is the word for this. Intermittent fasting is when a person skips one or more meals per day, fasting just for a portion of the day. Fasting's advantages. Fasting has been shown to have beneficial benefits on our health by a large body of scientific research. People usually report feeling at least somewhat better after a fasting period. Fasting has several advantages, which include, but are not limited to, improved blood pressure and cardiovascular health, improved insulin sensitivity, lower blood sugar levels, certain kinds of cancer may be prevented, mental clarity and cognitive function have improved, increase of energy, weight loss assistance, improved self-discipline and a stronger immune system, creating healthier eating habits. Is it safe to do so at a later age? While everyone, regardless of age, should seek medical advice before embarking on a serious fast, this is particularly true for the elderly. Fasting can be deadly if our bodies aren't prepared for it. In addition, fasting is generally not recommended if you have a chronic illness or other general health concerns. In the end, it's up to you and your doctor to decide whether fasting is a healthy decision. But, on the other hand, a fast can be a terrific method to keep on track for general wellness and even improve lifespan for an older adult who appears to be in excellent health. If your doctor gives you the go-ahead to start fasting, you'll want to make safety your primary priority. So when planning your fast, keep the following points in mind. Don't go overboard. Avoid fasting too long, especially if it's your first time. Prepare your body for the fast ahead. Don't eat too much the night before to enjoy it while you can. Instead, reduce the amount of food you eat in the 2 or 3 days leading up to your fast's start date to prepare your body. Limit your physical activity. Keeping active during a fast can be beneficial. However, because your body is already burning through its fat reserves for energy, you don't want to push yourself any further than required. Pay attention to your body. It's typical to feel tired and weak in the first few days after surgery. However, if you experience pain, dizziness, confusion, blurred vision, or any other serious side effects, contact your doctor right away and, if necessary, discontinue the fast. Break the fast with care. It's vital to ease back into eating after a time of fasting by starting with bland foods. Begin with a simple broth or simple vegetables that are easy to digest. Anything heavy should be avoided. Experts recommend spending half the number of days you fast for gradually reintroducing foods back into your diet. So, if you fast for 6 days, take the next 3 days to go back into a regular eating regimen. Expect to regain the majority, if not all, of the weight you lost. Another crucial point to remember, especially for individuals who are trying to reduce weight by fasting. The majority of the weight you lose on a fast is water weight, which recovers quickly once you resume eating. This is very normal. Don't be disheartened. You've continued to boost your metabolism and take a significant step towards greater health. There may be other options if your doctor advises against fasting. However, if you still want to participate in a ritual fast, such as the forthcoming Lenten season, you can eliminate sweets, coffee, or alcohol, for example. You might also try a media fast, such as not watching television or turning off the internet on your mobile devices. Whatever way you fast, remember to keep your safety and well-being in mind and take the necessary precautions to ensure that you are fasting safely and not reducing the benefits of the fast. The term intermittent fasting, IF, can refer to a variety of dietary approaches. Unlike true fasting, which involves consuming no calories for an extended period of time, intermittent fasting allows some calories on fast days, which are interspersed with normal calorie feed days. Alternate day fasting, ADF, entails eating between 0 and 25% of one's daily calorie requirements on alternate days, with regular meals in between. The 5-2 IF diet is similar, except that 25% of calories are ingested on 2 non-consecutive fast days, with normal feeding on the remaining 5 days. Finally, time-restricted feeding, TRF, isn't exactly fasting. Still, it involves regularly restricting normal food to a relatively short time, say between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. What's the big deal about this? According to the most recent research on IF, this seemingly basic dietary regimen can prevent or cure almost anything. According to a sample of Amazon book titles, intermittent fasting can help you lose weight, gain muscle, boost your metabolism, burn fat, improve your memory, heal your body, and be more productive. While many of these statements will ring true for anybody who has tried a fad diet, the research behind these big book titles has a lot of promise. Experts warn, however, that there are risks involved. Fasting can be problematic for people who have diabetes or other diseases that need them to keep their blood glucose levels steady. Low blood sugar can produce dizziness, lightheadedness, and disorientation if you don't eat while you're exercising. Fasting can also induce dangerous electrolyte imbalances in patients taking drugs for heart disease or high blood pressure. What the science says isn't what you think it is. Scientists have studied fasting and meal timing guidelines for decades. Still, in recent years, as more advanced tools have been available, the area has flourished. As a result, many studies have shown positive outcomes for weight reduction and improving metabolic parameters such as insulin resistance and cholesterol profiles, preventing cognitive decline, combating cancer, and even slowing down the aging process. The problem is that the majority of this research was conducted on laboratory animals, such as mice and worms, and nearly all of the human trials were short-term and had tiny sample numbers. The findings of a somewhat bigger, year-long human experiment were disappointing to the field. IF did help people lose weight and improve lipid profiles, but it did no better than a traditional calorie-restricted weight management program. Furthermore, the IF group had the highest dropout rate, 13 out of 34. The most prevalent reason for withdrawing was difficulties adhering to the protocol. This was in stark contrast to previous studies, which found high adherence rates to IF procedures when trial lengths were shorter, 8 and 12 weeks, for example. While additional research is needed to discover whether and how IF and TRF can be most effective, researchers and other experts agree that it is currently a key tool in obesity. Ultimately, the degree of dietary adherence and sustainability, rather than the type of dietary plan, will determine weight loss outcomes, as one assessment of the literature put it. In other words, everyone is different, and some people find it simpler to keep to intermittent fasting or time-restricted feeding than decreasing calories every day. However, a few studies have demonstrated that patients who followed a TRF routine lost weight despite being told to eat ad libitum, or at their leisure. Questions and answers. What is the best time to start intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is usually thought to be safe, and it may even be advantageous to teenagers. Still, there is one stipulation. The diet must be nutrient dense. Teenagers who are still in the growth stage require all essential nutrients and should avoid restricted diets, unless they are medically necessary. Teens should also avoid rigid, extended fasts during this vulnerable stage of their lives, opting instead for easier, more sustainable IF methods. However, we wouldn't recommend that young people begin this program without first contacting a certified dietitian, especially if they struggle with health conditions like obesity, type 2 diabetes, or heart disease. Is intermittent fasting suitable for adults over the age of 50? IF and elderly people. Yes, in the broadest sense. However, we already know that when it comes to health, generalizations aren't truly applicable. Elderly persons should seek medical advice before beginning a fast or other eating regimens, especially if they suffer from chronic medical conditions. On the other hand, healthy older people may benefit from IF, which has been demonstrated to increase general well-being and lifespan. But of course, they are starting cautiously. Using less strict IF approaches is vital, as is conserving energy during the fast by limiting activity. Can a person practice intermittent fasting until they reach a certain age? As previously stated, there are no severe age-related restrictions when it comes to IF. Therefore, even the elderly may benefit from this dietary pattern if they speak with their healthcare provider, nutritional specialist first. Furthermore, there is no strong proof of the hazards of this type of lifestyle in older people. On the other hand, fasting may provide difficulty for persons who need to take their medications with food or take heart or blood pressure drugs, as they may be in danger of potassium and sodium imbalances during the fasting window. Is it true that IF can help me lose weight at any age? At any age, body weight can be controlled, although it is dependent on several factors. For example, considerable metabolic alterations, particularly in women, contribute to weight gain. The most important aspects to consider are your dietary choices and calorie intake when it comes to weight loss. A caloric surplus, eating more calories than you expend, can eventually lead to weight gain, even if you're following an IF diet. Making better food choices, increasing protein consumption, which can easily be done with all-natural collagen supplementation, engaging in daily activities, and, if possible, incorporating strength training are just a few of the strategies for healthy weight loss regardless of age. Intermittent fasting has been demonstrated to help with weight loss by improving fat burning while maintaining lean muscle mass, increasing metabolic rate. Is it possible to fast intermittently during menopause? Menopause and IF. Yes. Intermittent fasting, especially if you're attempting to lose weight, can be a very effective approach during menopause. However, as previously said, you must be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Intermittent fasting makes this easier for many people. In addition, while many IF models do not limit the amount of food consumed, the length of the eating window usually prevents you from eating more than 2 large meals, which can help you lose weight. However, some studies have found that excessive calorie restriction can cause hormonal abnormalities in some women. As a result, it's critical to stick to shorter fasting intervals and avoid eating too few calories. Fasting has also been linked to increased cognitive functions and mood, which is always beneficial, especially for menopausal women experiencing brain fog and mood swings. However, if you feel that fasting is negatively affecting you, physically or mentally, you should stop right away. Menopause is already a complex and difficult time, and adding more stress to the mix is the last thing you need. I'm attempting to gain muscle. Can IF help? Intermittent fasting is frequently connected to weight loss because it promotes healthy fat loss and simplifies maintaining a calorie deficit. However, you might lose muscle as well as body fat and water while lowering weight. Combining a high-protein diet with strength exercise is the most effective strategy to maintain and grow muscle. If you have difficulties meeting your daily protein requirements, try adding a non-GMO collagen peptide supplement to your diet. Collagen has been demonstrated to aid in muscle development and protect the muscular structure, in addition to being a wonderful, carb-free source of pure protein. Intermittent fasting for men over 50 plus. Do you think males should try intermittent fasting? It's not as easy as simply starving yourself. However, when done correctly, it can be quite beneficial. Approximately half of all individuals in the United States are attempting to lose or maintain their weight. Nearly 80% of them are attempting to accomplish it on their own. Even if they are successful, studies show that most people can't keep the weight off. Intermittent fasting could be the solution to weight loss for certain guys. Intermittent fasting, while not for everyone, can be quite beneficial for some people. In terms of weight loss, it's unclear if men or women benefit more from intermittent fasting. However, the research shows that it is a beneficial technique for enhancing men's and women's health. Simple fasting rules. If you want intermittent fasting for males to work for you, follow a few principles. First and foremost, get plenty of rest. Sleep is beneficial to your health in general, but obtaining more sleep when intermittent fasting boosts your chances of sticking with it because you are up for fewer hours during the day. This means you'll need less willpower to keep the fast going. If you go to bed at midnight and get up at 6 a.m. to go to work, for example, you will have to fight late night desires. You can shave 2 hours off your day by going to bed at 10 p.m., and you're less likely to have a midnight snack if you're already in bed and asleep. The majority of people choose for a 14 to 16 hour fast. As a result, you'll either skip breakfast or dinner. The majority of people opt to forego breakfast and eat their lunch and dinner as usual. To tide you over, have a cup of coffee. While some forms of intermittent fasting allow for only 1 shot of cream in your coffee, the decision is yours. What happens is that you don't overdo it. Don't add 2 or 3 shots of cream and a tablespoon of sugar, for example. Finally, consume everything you'll eat for the day within the next 8 hours. If you're not used to this can be difficult. You can eat a substantial breakfast and a relatively large lunch if you get up at 6 a.m. and eat by 7 a.m., as long as you finish by 3 p.m. You can also forgo breakfast and eat lunch at midday, followed by dinner at 8 p.m. Select an eating window that you will eat at regularly. If you opt to go on a 16-hour, 8-hour fasting eating schedule every other day, but that 16-hour window overlaps with your training plan and you find yourself unable to resist food at an inconvenient moment, you may want to adjust your schedule. Intermittent fasting is a terrific way to boost your weight loss prospects, but it won't work if you don't follow the plan. Intermittent fasting can be used in a variety of ways to improve your health. Fasting on alternate days, weekdays with a certain number of days, fasting schedule for each day, fasting for at least 12 hours. You'll need to create a timetable that works for you to maximize your weight loss pace. The fasting schedule you create should consider how much weight you want to lose, how many calories you consume, how much exercise you get, and any other problems unique to your case. What not to do. When it comes to intermittent fasting, there are a few pitfalls to avoid. For starters, some people don't keep track of their eating window and eat outside of the 8-hour window. As a result, people don't last long enough and don't see the desired results. People also make the error of not keeping their 8-hour window consistent from day to day. The importance of consistency cannot be overstated. Choose an 8-hour window for eating and stick to it. For example, start your eating window and do it every day if you want to eat breakfast. Please don't confuse your body by eating simultaneously every day. Otherwise, it won't be easy to keep fasting. Because most people aren't used to skipping meals, intermittent fasting might be challenging at first. A new habit must be established. Those who make a move, on the other hand, generally discover that fasting is sufficient for weight loss, and that they don't need to recall elaborate dieting rules or restrict themselves of items they enjoy. During the eating period, don't overindulge. After a long period of not eating, you could find yourself hungry. Keep in mind why you're fasting in the first place and eat a balanced diet. Advantages of intermittent fasting for men. Intermittent fasting refers to an eating pattern in which a person alternates between eating and fasting. Intermittent fasting comes in a variety of forms. Some people do it every day or every other day, while others do it every day or every other day. Men's benefits from intermittent fasting may somewhat outnumber women's benefits. However, this should only be considered a good finding for men. Both men and women benefit from intermittent fasting, according to the study. Among the many advantages of intermittent fasting are the following. Weight loss with intermittent fasting. The most obvious and biggest benefit of intermittent fasting for guys is that it helps them lose weight. You mustn't consume as much as possible throughout the hours you're eating. You should eat the same number of meals as you normally would during this time period. You'll be able to consume fewer meals and snacks in 24 hours if you practice intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting also aids in the improvement of the weight loss hormone's actions. Our insulin levels will drop if we do not eat snacks, and our fat cells will release their stored sugar to be used as energy. Alternate day fasting has been demonstrated in studies to lower blood sugar levels, which can be useful for diabetes and weight loss. The brain benefits from intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is beneficial to the brain in several ways. Intermittent fasting has been shown to speed up the growth of new nerve cells. This is advantageous to the brain. In addition, intermittent fasting also improves cellular healing mechanisms. This clears trash from cells and may aid in the prevention of Alzheimer's disease. Intermittent fasting also boosts levels of a brain hormone known as brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. You are more prone to develop depression if your BDNF levels are low. Intermittent fasting is beneficial to the heart. Intermittent fasting, according to the Intermountain Medical Center, helps to maintain heart healthy. This is excellent news, as heart disease is a significant cause of death worldwide. Intermittent fasting aids in the reduction of blood pressure, which is beneficial to the heart. The levels of LDL and total cholesterol will also be reduced. Intermittent fasting will also benefit blood sugar levels. Heart disease can be avoided by maintaining healthy heart. If your family has a history of heart disease, intermittent fasting is something you should think about. Intermittent fasting can aid in the reduction of inflammation. The body's response to external threats, such as harmful substances and viruses, is inflammation. This is the body's defense mechanism for cells and tissues. However, excessive inflammation in the body is a different matter. Lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, and gouty arthritis are all connected to excessive inflammation. Joint pain and stiffness, redness, weariness, headaches, and muscular stiffness are all signs of inflammation. Intermittent fasting can aid in the reduction of inflammation in the body. Intermittent fasting has numerous advantages for your body and health. Because an intermittent fasting cycle is adaptable, you can make it fit your lifestyle. Intermittent fasting can be made more effective. It would be an understatement to suggest that intermittent fasting is a hot weight loss trend this year. Due to its exceptional weight loss outcomes in a short amount of time, weight loss enthusiasts are flocking to this healthy eating plan. Suppose you're thinking about using time-restricted eating to help you lose weight quickly. In that case, there are a few tricks you should know to make your intermittent fasting diet more effective. Reduce your calorie intake by following a calorie-restricted diet. This one is straightforward. Make sure you're eating healthy foods during your meal times. Stick to a diet rich in complex carbohydrates, lean protein, and veggies. Eggs, seafood, apples, nuts, and practically all vegetables are satiety-inducing foods. Increase the number of restricted hours. Many dieters who use intermittent fasting to lose weight quickly limit their food intake to 12 to 14 hours. You can enhance the rate at which you lose weight by limiting your food intake to 16 hours. Stop eating by 8 p.m. and you'll spend the majority of your non-eating hours sleeping. Protein first. When your intermittent fasting period is over, concentrate on consuming high-protein foods. After your 16-hour fast, eat protein-rich foods such as chicken, fish, and turkey instead of immediately consuming carbohydrates. This helps your body stay in fat-burning mode for longer while still providing vital proteins. Selective carbohydrate eating. Just because you're losing weight through time-restricted dieting doesn't imply you should eat high-carbohydrate or sugar-rich items when you're not fasting. You'll lose weight faster if you eat low-glycemic carbohydrates instead of high-carbohydrate items. Carbohydrates are an important part of a balanced diet, but they must be chosen carefully. You'll be surprised at how rapidly you may lose weight if you eat carbohydrates that convert to sugar at a slower pace. Intermittent fasting for women over 50 plus. Women over 50 may benefit from intermittent fasting to lose weight and reduce their risk of acquiring age-related disorders. In addition, according to a new study from Baylor College of Medicine, intermittent fasting can lower blood pressure. Fasting decreases blood pressure via altering the gut microbiota, according to the study. Of course, many women over 50 are concerned about losing weight in addition to trying to improve their health. Lower metabolism, achy joints, diminished muscle mass, and even sleep troubles make it more difficult to lose weight beyond 50. But, simultaneously, decreasing fat, particularly harmful belly fat, can significantly lower your chance of serious health problems, including diabetes, heart attacks, and cancer. Of course, as you become older, your chances of contracting a variety of ailments rise. However, when it comes to weight loss and reducing the risk of acquiring age-related disorders, intermittent fasting for women over 50 may be a virtual fountain of youth in some circumstances. Some people claim that IF has helped them lose weight simply because the limited eating window forces them to eat fewer calories. For example, instead of 3 meals and 2 snacks, they may only have time for 2 meals and 1 snack. As a result, they become more conscious of their foods. They tend to avoid processed carbohydrates, bad fats, and empty calories. Of course, you have the freedom to eat whatever healthful foods you want. While some people use intermittent fasting to reduce their overall calorie intake, others use it in conjunction with keto, vegan, or other diets. The benefits of intermittent fasting for women over 50 could go beyond calorie restrictions. While some nutritionists believe that IF only works because it encourages people to eat less, others disagree. They think that intermittent fasting produces greater benefits than traditional meal patterns with the same calories and other nutrients. Studies have even suggesting that fasting for several hours a day accomplishes more than just calorie restriction. These are among the metabolic alterations that IF generates, which may help explain the synergistic effects. Insulin. Lower insulin levels throughout the fasting phase will aid fat burning. HGH levels rise when insulin levels fall, promoting fat burning and muscle building. Noradrenaline. When the nervous system detects an empty stomach, it sends this hormone to cells, instructing them to release fat for fuel. Is intermittent fasting beneficial to your health? Is intermittent fasting a healthy way to eat? First, remember that you should only fast for 12 to 16 hours, not for days, so you still have plenty of time to eat a delicious and healthy meal. Of course, some older women may require frequent eating due to metabolic issues or prescription directions. In that situation, you should talk to your doctor about your eating habits before making any adjustments. While it isn't exactly fasting, some experts claim that permitting easy-to-digest foods like whole fruit throughout the fasting window has health benefits. Modifications like these can nevertheless provide a much-needed break for your digestive and metabolic systems. For example, the popular weight loss book, Fit for Life, recommended eating fruit after supper and before lunch. In reality, according to the writers of this book, they had patients who only modified their eating patterns by fasting for 12 to 16 hours each day. Despite not adhering to the diet's other principles or counting calories, they dropped weight and improved health. This technique may have worked because dieters swapped junk food for whole meals. In any event, participants found this dietary change to be helpful and simple to implement. Traditionalists won't call this fasting, but it's vital to know that you have options if you can't go without eating for more than a few hours. Conclusion. The majority of individuals can safely fast and reap enormous benefits. However, there are a few outliers. For example, fasting is not recommended for anyone who is malnourished or underweight, under 18, pregnant, or breastfeeding. In addition, if you have gout, are on medication, have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, or have gastroesophageal illness, you should see your doctor before fasting. It is critical to drink plenty of fluids during fasting. Water, black coffee, green or black tea, no sugar or sugar alternatives, and chicken or beef or vegetable broth are all acceptable beverages to eat when fasting. Avoid bone broth due to protein content. Medications and vitamin supplements are also safe to use if they don't make you feel sick. Fasting intervals may need to be moved around medication times on occasion. If you have any questions or concerns about fasting and drugs, talk to your doctor. Fasting is an excellent technique to help stop the cycle of unhealthy eating if you are battling with food cravings or addiction. Fasting can also help you save time and money. When you eat fewer calories and buy fewer groceries and spend less time cooking meals. Fasting can also assist you in negotiating the food scene while traveling or in situations where there are few good food options. This versatile tool has numerous advantages. You may use it to enhance your health, reduce drugs, increase your emotional well-being, and much more.